And we're live. Hey guys, welcome back to Whiskey Charlie, the War Game Chat, our monthly show on YouTube. I'm your host from Mo's Game Table, and joining me are my co-hosts, everybody's favorite Gimp with the Limp, the TheGimpyGamer, Nate Rogers. How's it going, Nate?
Well, glad I'm still here.
Awake?
Yeah,
awake?
I'm awake. I'm awake for now. If I fall
We'll
asleep,
come back
don't
to that
take
in
it.
a second.
Yeah, don't take it personally. Let's just say I'm happy to be here.
And we're happy you are too. And the War Game Wizard from Oz, Kev Sharp from the Big Board. How's it going, Kev?
I'm doing great. I'm glad to be here. Let's go.
Let's go. All right. And as you notice, Nate is vaping.
Yeah, quit smoking.
He's indoors.
Yeah.
No more cast to the outside,
No.
which is a good thing. So, but it's been a little bit of time since we've had our last show, and we had planned on having some guests, but we decided to push that a little bit till next month. We're going to have on Herm Lutman and Mark Walker, and we're going to talk about on the next show. We'll talk about learning games and keeping them all in your head, which is a great question for Kev because he's always rolling dice and playing some game every 20 minutes, it seems.
Yeah.
But instead, we decided to just keep it in-house tonight with us three. We've got a whole bunch of different subjects to talk about, and we'll have a little bit of fun. We'll have a little bit of interesting chat, talk about new stuff we got.
Speaking of Marky Mark, though, old
Marky
Funky
Mark.
Bunch there, I'm assuming he messaged you guys about the Kickstarter they got launching.
Yeah.
We are allowed to mention that, right?
No, you can't.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
when does that launch? Is that the end of this month?
28th.
Yeah, 28th.
85.
They're doing 85, so the sequel to 65.
Yeah. Have a look at the rules. They look cool.
Yeah, 85, Afghanistan, something of the mountain. Was it Graveyard of the Mountain or some shit?
No, Graveyard of Empires.
Yeah, Graveyard of Empires.
Way to build it up there, Nate. Some graveyard.
Graveyard of Graveyards.
Hey,
or
I
something.
did.
Some shit. It's okay.
Well,
not half
it's fitting because the big news this month, as you can see here, is Gimpy broadcasting from an alleyway. Gimpy is now homeless, and he is still able to join us.
He's a homeless vet.
It
From
wouldn't
the
let me
really clean and
switch.
beautiful-looking brick wall.
The only option I had was like this or the one I used last time. So I could
There you go, long road.
It says I have to log in to go to something else, or I could be in the living room. Here we go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Wow, you got a nice freaking spread.
Yeah, I didn't know you play piano.
Yeah, I could add some other pictures, but I got to log in, and I was like, it's not worth the effort right now. I'm just not that concerned with it.
Well, thanks for making the effort.
There you go. So I do like that better than the brick wall. It looks a little more lively because up against brick wall looks like you're, I don't know,
Lining up to get shot.
Like that.
Yeah.
Just need to have a towel wrapped around your neck or something like that, like they do for the mug shots and stuff like that. So I'm just trying to catch up on all the little comments we've got so far. And Ron, he's doing his chemo. Excuse grammar errors in all languages.
Well, hang in there, Ron.
Sorry to hear that, Ron.
Yeah, you're almost finished too, right, Ron? Kick cancer's ass. Fuck cancer.
Yeah, I think I saw that on Facebook the other day.
Yeah. And Tony says Kev can't keep the rules straight. He just acts like it. Fake it till you make it.
Yeah. At least I know how to play.
So it's like and he's only got one more left. So like the old saying is fake it till you make it. So keep faking it, you'll make it too, like Kev has. But
Exactly.
And then John says, is Kevin physically in Australia or is he in America?
America.
No,
I'm not in America. I'm in Texas.
Yes. He's in about as America as you can get.
In the great state of Texas, the Republic of Texas.
That's right. It's not Texas. It's the great state of Texas, I found out.
Yes. So, and the great state of Texas, at least in my area today, in North Texas, we got up to 90 degrees.
Ooh,
We had ice a few weeks ago, and now we're 90.
I was in Austin today. It was hot. I'm going to mute myself for a few moments because my wife, timing, has just come home with pizza. So
Oh, nice.
So that's my dinner. I'm going to mute for a minute while all the dogs bark and stuff, and you guys talking about yourselves.
Why is it that they don't have dinner done before now? I thought like elderly people ate at like
Why
4 or
is it that
5.
you whine about this every freaking time?
Because it adds to the show. It's all part of the character of the show.
Figured they would be done with dinner. Well, wait, you guys are an hour behind, so what is it? It's like 7 o'clock for you guys right now, right?
We're in proper time. You're the overachiever wannabes that go to the earlier time on the East Coast.
Eastern Standard Time is... No, I'm on the Eastern Coast.
Yes.
I'm New York time.
We're in proper time. You're in that overachiever wannabe category with the hour ahead. So no, Gimpy is not in Texas. Gimpy is on the East Coast.
I will eventually be in your time zone.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, I'm going to be moving somewhere in the middle. I don't know exactly where, but I will be heading that way. Oh,
Nice.
Look at that. Ron's got one of the little lock and load counters, too. I like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that is awesome. And so, yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe you'll get out here to Texas. Hopefully before I leave Texas.
No, we already talked about it. She would go to Texas, right, for you guys to have like a built-in, friend base already there. But you're not going to stay anyway, so it doesn't matter. So we're probably going to like...
Well, what am I, chopped liver, bitch? I mean, really?
Moe's.
No, really, thanks for nothing.
We
Wow.
love you, Kev.
Wow. Thanks for playing.
Hey, you give Mo crap. He's the one that's leaving too. And
Well, I
Texas
mean,
is
that's-
huge.
that's
You
the
guys are
intent
hours
right
away
now.
from each other anyway.
That's the plan. I don't know if that's going to come to fruition or not, but I need mountains. That's what I want. So I'm looking to move west.
Colorado.
Northwest. No, not Colorado. Northwest. I mean, I would like, me personally, I would like South Dakota, Wyoming, possibly even Idaho, something like that. Less populated, not as many people.
EMP proof zone.
Kind of, sort of.
Somewhere a little cold.
Less of a target zone.
Yeah.
But
and
I like less, less populated areas. I think that would be much more calmer, peaceful, and cleaner air, and not as many allergies as we have here in Texas. That is the worst part of living here is the damn, well, aside from the heat, is the allergies. It's just like, holy crap. I never had that many allergies till I moved down here.
not to mention the cost of living's going up.
Oh, yeah, it is. It is. It's going up, which is good and bad. Oh, he's got his pizza. Nice.
Well, I mean, the amount of people you got moving into it.
This is true. You've got everybody fleeing the left and right coasts that are moving here. So everybody's moving to Texas because Texas has been just knocking it out of the park. Great businesses and everything else. So everything is good here in Texas for people who are living on the coast where cost of living has just gotten so astronomical, taxes, everything. But taxes here in Texas are going up too. So it's not like it's the be all end all answer to everything. So those are things to keep in mind as well. But so let's here we go. We got some. That is actually one of the areas that I would love to move to, Coeur d'Alene. I think it's real pretty there. Washington State is a very pretty state, for sure.
But it's got Seattle in it.
Portland has plenty of tents open. There you go. Can always live in a tent.
Nowhere we're within 500 miles of Seattle.
But, I mean, when I was in South Dakota, it was over by Rushmore and Deadwood and Spearfish, that area, the western side of the state. Really loved it. Just beautiful. People were real nice. Just a really nice area. And I think is it the largest or second largest city in the state is Rapid City, which is where that's by on the west side. A whole whopping 76,000 people. That's smaller than the town I moved out of. And the town I'm living now is over 4 times that size. So,
Well, bye, Kev.
Kev dropped off to eat his pizza.
It's bad timing. He's got to start like planning this out a little bit better.
Yeah, I know.
Because they're either doing dinner or washing dishes. Like right as soon as we can move the show back half an hour. Give them a little bit more time.
That's true. So Jeff's saying West Virginia got mountains. That is also an option. And And then we've got Tony saying he's finally caught us live. Great. Glad to have you on. And yes, this would be a retirement move. And I'm planning to do that in the next 3 to 5 years. So actually, yeah, just under 5 years. So 3 to 4 years. And that will be it. That'll be the plan, at least, to move and, preferably where there's a location that has either a basement where I can add, gotcha in mid-chew, a basement where I can have a nice finished basement and have multiple tables set up, or an area where I can, big enough room where I can set up a nice studio or have an outside building that I can use. So there's different options looking at.
But Wyoming, you should be able to get a small piece, a few acres, somewhere you can build a little shed. That's our plan.
Yeah, I mean, like something like that, like a glorified shed would be nice. Where you have like water and you have heat, air, all your electrical, all the conveniences, instead of just being a shed where you're, like stifling hot and stuff like that now. But yeah, I mean that would be the plan. But anyway, what's been up with you, man?
I haven't been doing much anything.
Keep you awake. Keep you awake.
I've been playing catch up. I know Gimpy's gals, told you guys about me being in and out of the hospital. Definitely appreciate the well wishes we received on that. So no update as of yet. But other than that, I am playing catch up because I swear to God, everyone who was sending me review copies, they all came in during that week I was in the hospital. Right? Like the Hunt came in, the expansion for Assault Red Horizon, that one came in. That's actually pretty cool. They added in, yeah, you got it. Yeah. Don't you love those little counters now? Right?
Oh yeah.
Because they've got counters that go over the hexes. So if you call in like an artillery strike, you can change a clear hex into like a cratered hex, or same thing with trees or rubble buildings. They added all that in there, and then you've got the ability to like call in Stukas or other types of air stuff into it. But it's all being done with like cards and counters, so it's not a hugely expensive expansion. But I am looking forward to trying that one. There was something else that came in. I know I was trying to finish up Enemy Action Kharkov because I just started that. Carrier came in, so now I got to jump onto that one. A couple of Kickstarters.
Carrier Battle or Carrier?
Carrier Philippine Battle.
Carrier Battle.
Yeah.
Philippines. Yeah.
Because that is the spiritual successor to Carrier, right?
Yes.
All right, the original one from, who was that? Victory Point Games?
Victory Games, I think.
Was it Victory
Yeah, Victory Games.
Yeah. I've actually...
And then Brian's asking you, did you get a chance to check out Double Dogs yet?
No, I did not, because that came in either, like, it was right when I got home, right when I got back. I don't know, I spent a week asleep. So when I got back and I started trying to get my feet back underneath me, it's just taken me forever to get everything back up and running. So I've been trying to play catch up, and I was having to email some of these publishers. I was like, hey, sorry, I'll get to you as soon as I can, because I felt bad about the Hunt, because that one is actually pretty cool. What did I do with it? Hold on, I got it right here. This one.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's about, it's not the Bismarck. What's the other one? The Graf Spee.
Graf Spee.
Graf Spee, yeah. Mm-hmm. Has that and the other ship that was with it. But in it, one person plays as the Germans, one person plays as the British. And the British have more access to actual combat vessels, but they also have, like, all the Atlantic shipping that was going on. And the German battleship's job is to go around and sink all the British shipping, but the British player doesn't know where the German battleship is. You keep track of that off map. So only one player knows, and the British player spends all his time trying to find out where the German battleship is. And the German guy has little tricks that he can do, like he has to announce how many points he's spending for movement. Right? 1, 2, 3 points, whatever he's spending. But just because he's spending that many points doesn't mean he's going that far. Yeah. He might announce 3 hexes worth of movement, but only move 1 hex. And only he knows where his ship is. Does that kind of
So
make
you're
sense?
trying to plot based on what he tells you.
Yeah, but see, the British player has certain things he can do as well. He can get hints. And if he gets a hint, then the German player has to place a yellow disc in one of the hexes surrounding his ship or even on his ship. So that kind of opens it up. If you think about it, the German battleship could be
Right.
a fair amount of spaces on the board, depending on where you put the disc, but only German players can know. So that's the thing how it goes. The German player has to get to the same hex as a British shipping fleet to take it out. So that's the only time the British player is going to know, okay, he just sank one of my ships. I know he's there right now, but the very next turn he's going to move. He's not going to know.
So it sounds like that game with you had
Sonar.
the L-shaped screen, and you just call out the numbers, and so it's kind of like Battleship.
Kind of. I mean, it's.
I'm just kidding. And it's not solitaire friendly, I imagine, or do they have a solitaire system?
It is not solitaire friendly. The map isn't too big.
It almost sounds like Sonar. Or
Yeah,
Pac-Man
Sonar would be more apt.
Yeah.
It's based on card play though. There's a set of cards that you're going to use with it, and you go back and forth 5 cards in your hand depending on certain situations. But there is a specific card that if it's played by the German player, it gives him a real big advantage. However, if the British player has one card in his hand, it's an auto win. So the German player can risk getting a huge advantage, but if he does, and the British player has the other card, then he wins. Definitely go check it out. I have no idea when they're doing the Kickstarter. It should be relatively soon, but it is called The Hunt. It's by Salt and Pepper Games. It's by the same people who did Resist. So David Thompson's game, Resist. But I felt bad because I was like in the hospital right after this arrived. I messaged them. I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm stuck here for a while. I don't know when I'm going to be out. And they're like, oh, don't worry about it. And they're like being so cool about it. But I know that those things are expensive.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, it's like, well, I'm kind of in a hospital for, it's not the sniffles. So, yeah.
Yeah, that
and right away, anybody would be like, no, dude, take care of that first.
I felt so bad for her too, though, because like she takes me to the hospital and I'm lying to her the whole way. And she's like, "Are you feeling okay?" I'm fine. I'm like, just drop me off at the door. Don't worry about it. And I'm just sitting there thinking to myself, like, don't die in the car with your kids in there. Wait until you get to the hospital.
Yeah.
So I get to the hospital, and when they tell me that they're going to be admitting me, I'm going to be in the ICU for a while. That's when she realized things were worse than I was letting on. She's like, "Were you lying to me?" I was like, oh hell yeah, I was lying to you the whole way. I was telling you I was fine. I was like, that wasn't fine. I was looking at the GPS, like, I can make it another 7 minutes. I can make it. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna black out before then. And she's like, you need to tell me the truth. I'm like, why? You were already going 80 miles an hour down the highway. I'm like, I'm not gonna, risk killing us, especially with you being a little bit worried. But I felt bad. Sure. She told me later when she got home, like, the fact that I got admitted and I was stuck at the hospital and she had gone home without me, like, that's when it hit her. That it was a little worse than I originally let on, and she was like crying about it. And then I ended up scaring her more because I had another episode the next day, and I was like, you know what? I didn't get a chance to do a few things, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna send you some stuff. Don't watch it. And of course, she watches part of it, and then she shuts it off because I was sending her instructions on what to do if I didn't make it home. Right?
Yeah.
I was like, you got to do X, Y, and Z because I knew she wouldn't plan this stuff.
Dude, you should have sent that to me, and I would have sent it to her if need be.
You were one of the instructions. I was like, Mo will tell you what to do. I'm like, as far as all this stuff, so contact Mo, and he'll help you, work things out, get some money in your hands, all that good stuff. Mm-hmm. But I felt kind of bad because I scared her because then once she, saw what I was sending her, she's like bursting into tears, like, are you okay? I'm fine. I'm just sleeping through it.
It's gonna walk it off. I'm good.
Everything was cool.
You what's that?
It's a flesh wound.
Just a flesh wound.
Sure as hell didn't feel like it hurt like hell.
Yeah, I get this message. I'm at a hockey game. I'm in the middle of a broadcast, and I see this message that says, if anything happens to me, you got to help Elise with my war game collection. And I'm like, oh, yeah, he must have just bought something, and Elise going to kill him. That's what he's messaging me. That's what I thought it was. The way it started off, because you only get part of the text, and it was a long text. And I was like, oh, he must have just bought a 200. I bet you he bought friggin' Deadly Northern Lights or something like that. And she's gonna kill him. So I didn't think anything of it at the time until the next stoppage in play. And we had our TV timeout, and then I looked at it and I was like, what the fuck? And I'm like, shit. And I'm texting you right back I'm working that and I'm doing the game at the same time, trying to text back and forth. And then I talked to you at greater length afterwards. But yeah, that was a holy shit.
Hey,
type of moment.
We did figure out one thing. You remember how I was so blurry that week? And I was like just almost unconscious. All right, so they were giving me medicine to keep my heart rate down so I didn't like spike and have another one of those attacks. But because of a error, now it was part me, part the VA. Long story, I won't get into it. But it wasn't specifically their fault. But they accidentally doubled the seizure meds that I was taking. All right. And it was one of those circumstances of just like perfect disaster for it to line up the way that it did, right?
Yeah.
And like I take 2 at home, they were having to give me 4 because it was different doses. Long story, right? But because of that, they accidentally doubled it, and I didn't know, and they didn't know. So they had doubled that while giving me something else, and that's why I spent 5 days just asleep. Like I was out cold the whole time. They're like, is he usually this tired? And she's like, no, this is very odd. Because the nurse would come in and she's like talking to me, talking to Lisa when she was there. And I'm like falling asleep while I'm trying to eat. And they're trying to figure out what the hell. And they figured it was the heart medicine zoning me out. And it turned out it wasn't just that. It was the combination of that and the medicine being screwed up. But once I got home and had everything straightened out, then I got fine and I'm back to being normal again. It just took a little bit of time to figure out the screw up.
Well, I mean, this is actually a very valid point what Tony's saying here. This would be what the corpsman would say in this situation would be, take some Motrin, change your socks, hydrate, you'll be good.
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
But, dude, I got to hit my doctor with that shit because it was days before. Like my primary doc, I told him, I'm like, my heart's been bothering me. It's been racing. There's something off. He's like, oh, well, you can get an EKG done, next few months. Next time you're at the VA, just stop by. It's no rush. And it was like, a handful of days after that, I'm in the ICU. And I remember the next time I was talking to him, I was like, hey, so you want to look into scheduling that EKG? A couple months from now? You still think I need it then?
The one thing that you found out, unfortunately the hard way, and I found out as well because my wife is in the medical profession, is one of the things you have to do when you're in the hospital is you have to double check your doctors and the nurses and make sure that they are giving you the right stuff because they will screw up. Yep. And it's a terrible thing to have to say that you have to know your medicine better than they do, but you do. And you have to ask questions and everything else, especially today. It's not the same today as it was 20, 30 years ago.
I had a nurse draw the circle on the wrong knee to be operated on. I went, whoa, hey now, time out. It's the other one.
They got that in the records. Don't they have that like highlighted because you hear horror stories about them like amputating the wrong foot or something?
Well, they should check with you first. Like whenever like when I had my knee worked on, it was the same thing. It's like I was like pointing and they were like, okay, which knee is it? They knew, but they wanted me to verify. And I said, this knee, and I put my hand on it. And I said, yeah, we just wanted to verify.
They did that to Elise when she was a kid. She had a back brace, and they gave her, when she was growing up and getting into a different size, they gave her one that was pushing her the wrong direction, and she tried to tell them, like, this is the wrong way, wrong shoulder, and her parents wouldn't listen, the doctor wouldn't listen, and what do you know, she had to have surgery done, afterwards, because they screwed the pooch over it. And it's like, you're right, you got to be your own advocate.
Yeah, no, you have to, because healthcare is not healthcare anymore. It's just about making money.
Well, that's why we have
for
problems.
The corporations.
She keeps track of my stuff. My memory's shit. I can't keep track of it. So she, makes sure I've got the right stuff at the right time. And with her having to be home with the kids, she couldn't keep track of that. So anytime the doctors would come in, I'd call her on speakerphone so she could talk to them to try to keep track of everything that was going on. But I felt bad because everything falls on her shoulders if I go down.
Sure. Sure.
And getting the kids watched, man, that was the worst. I told you, right? Mm-hmm. I get checked out of the hospital. I come home, and that very next night, everyone, including me, all 6 of us in the house have the worst stomach bug possible.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not coming out one end, it's coming out the other. And it was like that for 24 hours. And we're just looking up like, what did we burn down an orphanage and we didn't know? Like, what are we doing here, God? Like, why are we being punished? It was
Is that
just
a bad
the...
thing?
What's that?
Is that a bad thing?
What, burning down an orphanage? I would think so.
I'm asking for a friend. That's all.
And Kev wonders why he has the notorious asshole moniker.
Speaking of which, I was thinking about doing a video talking about that stuff that you had mentioned on Facebook the other day.
Orphanages?
No, the article you talked about.
The Metropolitan War Gamer, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
We'll talk about that tonight. But so that's good that everything's good now, and hopefully it'll maintain and improve. And good thing is you quit smoking and now you're vaping, so
No.
that right there is double plus good. And I got this in D100 Space from Brian Patterson.
Yeah, it's good looking out, Brian.
Yeah, that is going to be fun. And then we got the Assault, which we talked about. Then I got this one in from GMT. Next War Supplement 3 from Mitch Land. And then I also have this one that came in from Blue Panther. Should be interesting. Land and Freedom is the Spanish Revolution and Civil War.
Is that Hollandspiel?
No, this is just Blue Panther. Directly Blue Panther.
I thought they just printed. They didn't publish.
No, they do print and publish some games. And this is one that they're publishing. So
They're even doing some other companies. They do several companies now. So pretty cool.
they're expanding, which is great. And this one comes with a canvas map. So that's kind of neat. And the canvas map is, I think he said, slightly folded. So it's folded enough to get in the box, but with it not folding it like you would a paper map, so it's not ruined or anything like that.
In the little skinny box thing they do. Yeah.
No.
Is that? Oh, that's fine.
yeah.
It's a couple inch
Larger boxes now.
Yeah, I love that.
Lovely.
I love that. So that'll be interesting. It's it's a strategy game, so it'll be interesting to see how that plays. So then I got a few others. I got Band of Brothers, Old Breed, Die Festung Hamburg. So
Band of Brothers.
lots of good stuff to check out. Band of Brothers from Worthington Publishing.
Worthington,
tactical
that's
system that they've got.
I was trying to
And they've
remember to
got-
publish it.
With the Old Breed, which is the Marine version. So I was like, okay, it's Marines. I'm obligated to check it out.
I knew
I'm
you'd
Marine.
do that.
What's that?
I knew you'd do that.
Well, I've played Band of Brothers before. I had the
Yeah.
whole thing before.
Yeah.
Ended up selling it because I was not crazy about it. And I figured, you know what? They have changed some things up for this because it's
We're on
against the
Whiskey
Japanese.
Churro.
Oh, so it's a little bit different
Okay,
because
so
I wasn't a huge fan of the armor.
Yeah,
armor
if you-
war.
Oh, God, armor is
I love
terrible,
the
yeah.
infantry stuff. I thought it was cool.
We're on
Hi.
StreamYard.
The infantry is cool, but redundant.
But it would be on YouTube.
To me, it felt
If
like
you go
it was,
to Mo's channel,
it was too much
Mo's
always the
gaming
same thing.
table,
Fine, fix,
it'll be
fine,
live on
fix,
there right
fine,
now.
finish.
You can
Always.
click on there.
It felt like that was
Oh.
the
Is that how you
only
want to watch
formula
it?
to,
You want to pull it up
do
on
it.
your
Now, I
Yeah,
know
tablet?
that
but can
is
I say hi real
proper
quick?
infantry
Yes.
tactics.
All right.
But it just felt like that was
Right.
really the
Okay.
only way to
So
do it every
until we
time.
got
And I was
talking,
just
okay.
like,
Okay.
okay, I'm kind of not keen on that
Hi.
because not every situation will play that. Hey, buddy, how's it going?
I like the green screen. I know you can see. I know that's. I keep disappearing into the background.
Where'd he go?
You have a piano on your head.
Oh, there he is.
All right.
He was in stealth mode.
It's Mo's game table. Go pull
Way to
it
go,
up.
Bradley.
Right.
He was asking how to pull it up because he wanted to watch it.
Nice. No. Stuka Joe. Hey, Joe, how's it going?
Hey,
The
Joe.
legend.
And yes, you can roll up the canvas maps. So that is always another one to do with the canvas maps. You want to protect those because those canvas maps really are nice.
But they can
And-
crease.
They can crease, which is the way they folded them. They gently folded it, so that way you can unfold it, and it does not really have too many creases in it. It's not too bad because it's not folded real hard like you would a regular map. So you can lay it down flat, and then it'll work its way out. But that with the canvas maps, I found if you're going to put it out there, it's got any creases in it all from storing, if you're not able to store it flat, then take it, put it down, put some heavy game boxes on top of it. I'm going to play it tomorrow night, so put it out now, put some stuff on top of it. It'll be nice and flat by, the next night when you're going to sit down and play. And definitely try to store those. What I do with mine is I'll store them with my plexi. I'll just put them in between the plexi sheets. So that way they're stood up against the wall. So.
Yeah, Stuka's right. I always hate that when I get a real glossy paper map, because you can never get the lighting right without having the glare on it.
Yeah, and it seems like, I guess maybe it's cheaper, but GMT and Compass seem to be doing these high-gloss maps, and it's really annoying. I think even MMP are doing the same thing,
Is there a protective, is it more protective or something like that?
Man. I was looking at the new the Hamburg one, Die Festung Hamburg, whatever it is, from they're not high-gloss. They've got a sheen to them.
No, they've got almost like a matte to it.
Yeah, it's a matte, kind of a matte sheen, and they also have a coating that's waterproof. I don't know if you've actually tried it or not, but it's waterproof.
No, it seems waterproof, and I'm gonna trust that it seems waterproof.
Yeah.
Don't want to spill anything to find out.
Yeah. Academy Game stuff is waterproof. Some of their stuff.
Oh, they have war games today? That's cool.
Yeah, they publish one every 10 years or so. Their third edition.
You Academy Games up every time, like, the best war game company ever. But when they do, it's perfect.
Credit where credit is due. I had gotten onto them on their stuff, and I actually did a test one time because Uva talked to me and was like, oh, no, it's this plastic type card. It's waterproof. So I went and checked it, and I was like, I'll be damned. I dipped the thing in water on camera to prove it. I was like, yep, it's a plastic card. It's not going to rip or not going to get ruined if it gets wet. So you got to give it to him. He might release one every 20 years, but it's not going to ruin. It'll last you as long as you live.
True. And, you were saying give credit where credit is due. And John says, can we all just thank Stuka for another great coverage of BeodaCon? And it was great coverage to see that he had done. It's just a great live coverage to watch. A lot of times it was during work, so I would kind of, it would pop up on my thing, and I'd be like, put it on. And I'd listen more than I'd watch because I'd have it on another screen. And I'd be listening in, and then, oh, good, I got to watch that. And then I would go back over to it, and check it out. And then, of course, I'd catch up on it in the evening. But, yeah, it's great to see the coverage at BeodaCon. And thanks for that great job, Joe. That was just another outstanding job by you and a great contribution to the community.
Well, Stuka's got the perfect voice for it, man.
Mm-hmm.
You can just listen to stuff. He should have done radio.
Sometimes I just put a video of his on when I go to bed, and it just lulls me to sleep because it's got that beautiful tone. And I sleep. It's like listening to classical music. You just go, Stukaja.
And Bradley's on. He's joined us.
Cool.
Yeah, we'll see if my telling him it was how to locate the stream was a good thing or a bad thing.
He likes your green screen. So 15 hours of video, very little glitches. Yeah, no, that was great. That was great that you did not have too many technical issues. There's always a whole bunch of technical issues when you do live stuff. It just happens. Gremlins come in. But so yeah, we got all those games. What about you, Kev? Aside from pizza, what have you gotten lately?
So I think a lot of the same. Although Brian Pettis sent me White Tribe, which I got straight to the table. And had an interesting little experience with that. And so that was cool. Then Philippine Seas, Hamburg, the Festung Hamburg, and then I picked up both Killing Ground and Overlord, unpunched no less. So I'm pretty psyched about that. It's got an extra copy of the rules and all that, so I'm reading the rules right now. So I'm probably just going to play the landings, I think, to start with and see how that goes. And I've got some other stuff in, but I can't really remember. I got Combat 2 in, so I got the second module of that in. And in terms of gameplay, it's been kind of odd. So I still have that Great Campaigns of the American Civil War battle set up, and I've now played multiple games over the top of that and haven't touched it. I've started a campaign of combat, which will be kind of cool. I'm looking forward to using the Combat 2 career rules and all that sort of fun stuff. So that is, and I've got, I reached out to all the subscribers or whatever and asked them to chime in if they wanted to be a team member. So I've got some names from some subscribers. I'll see how many I can kill off. And I've got 2 games up and running. I've got Third World War on Vassal, which I think we're only on game my turn. So he's offered a retcon. That's how bad it is, right? So,
Yeah.
but we'll see. I have this theory, perhaps, that unless things go really well for the Soviets, it's in 1985. So, is it 85 or is it 89? I forget what year it is for that game, but it's very difficult for them to sort of get the upper hand in the campaign, in the whole campaign thing. And we've been playing training, sir. We've been training for Deadly Northern Lights, and in 8 weeks we're doing, a campaign game. So 3 of us.
Wow.
So I'm super excited about that. That'll be in person, 3 or 4 days straight, and we'll get, my guess is we'll probably get 4 or 5 turns done. So we'll get to the point where we know what will probably happen and sort of guess from there. So
Yeah.
But that's about it. I'm just trying to think. I haven't really, since we've spoken last. I mean, I picked up Panzer Battles and other stuff on sale, but nothing that off the top of my head. I'm probably forgetting things. Obviously got the supplement, the GMT supplement for Next War, but I got that several weeks ago. So yeah, so it's good. I'm having a little bit of a work confusion time, so it's been super busy. So I haven't literally not had time to roll dice very much. So I'm just trying to get some writing done and on the blog and on the Substack and kind of go for it from there. That was a long-winded answer, but yeah, that's the story.
Yeah, no, I hear that. And that is Clark Commando 1983 that is saying, hey, Gimpy Gamer, love your stuff. That is Mark Ruggiero, who just went through his first round of chemo today.
Oh, damn.
So
you go, Mark. Go get him.
Stay
Everyone's
strong.
health's gone to shit.
What's that?
Said everyone's gone to shit. Ron, Mark,
Yeah.
my crap.
Well, no, this is not gone to shit. This is the fight. This is the fight.
Yeah, he's just getting started. He'll be all right.
Yeah.
You're getting your transition surgery there, Mo?
Yeah, most, I've
Well,
noticed.
I am not transitioning to your Eurogamer. I'm going to stay at Metropolitan, stuck up a lead.
You're going to stay a Metropolitan, pinky finger up guy.
I forgot to mention to you guys, something interesting came in. I actually did a video talking about this. I haven't got it uploaded yet, but...
Your pamphlet for change?
No, see... The Everrain. Remember that one? Did you guys ever hear about that? The Everrain.
No.
It's a Kickstarter board game that I
Set
backed.
in Washington State, the ever rain where it always rains.
And it's Cthulhu mythos, ships, and Age of Sail type
okay.
stuff. But that thing backed like 6 years ago, something like that. It was a while back. So they are 4 years late in delivering. And what they ended up doing is similar to what other companies had done, where they kind of gambled and they took the money from some of the people who paid for shipping, right? So we all backed it. We paid for shipping. And because these guys were so late in delivery, shipping had gone up. Mm-hmm. So they used all the shipping money that we paid, and they paid for Europe and Asia and all those places to get their copies. And ours were sitting at Quartermaster Logistics for actually right at a year now that they've been sitting there. And we got the emails way back when saying, hey, it's going to get sent out. And they kept giving excuses. And then finally they admitted that they had ran out of money, that they had spent it on everyone else. And they're like, but we're not going to make you guys, pay extra to ship. We're not going to do that. We're waiting on this tax rebate that the UK government's going to give us. I was like, yeah, that's going to happen. And sure enough, actually, while I was in the hospital, they had sent out an email saying that if you wanted to, you could pay extra to have yours go ahead and ship now. And this is like the third, fourth time I've seen this happen with Quartermaster, some publisher. And I'm not really blaming Quartermaster because it's not their fault if they get a Kickstarter in and then the publisher doesn't pay to ship it, right? Because Quartermaster can only do what they're paid to do, right?
Yeah,
They're
exactly.
a company.
Exactly.
But it's something bad a lot of these companies are starting to fall back on, that they'll use what shipping money they haven't blown to cover some people, and then they tell everyone else, well, you can pay extra. And it's like,
Yeah, that's not right, because first of all, they're making a profit, right? So you don't sell a game without making a profit. And the margins are not what everyone thinks they are. They're significantly better, right? No matter what. Any publisher that tells you that there's no money in gaming is a liar. So the fact that they've made their money and now are not prepared to deliver the games because, well, they're in the warehouse, but really it's on you. That's bullshit. I would just call them up and say, give me my money back, jackass. And now we'll work it out, right?
well, see, that's what's interesting, right? Because I had actually contacted Quartermaster a couple times about this, and I told them I was doing a story on it, and they gave me the usual businessy, political, we can't talk about our people, blah, blah, blah. But mine got sent to me without me paying. Because like I said, I was in the hospital. I didn't know about this. So I come home and find out it's been delivered, and I'm like, others paid to have theirs shipped. So why didn't I have to pay to have mine shipped? And I'm wondering, was that we'll send it to him, see if it keeps him quiet thing, or...
Bet you $100 Quartermaster sent forwarded the email to the game company, and they're like, oh, let's get just here's $20, send it to him.
Yeah, could have, or it could just be that they're trying to say, hey, pay if you want yours. We'll pay to ship these, just get some of them out. And the people who do pay, they're going to have those shipped out as well. So that way people are going to see other people are receiving it. Well, screw it, I'll just pay the extra $20 or 50 or whatever it is. Well, and that's poor planning.
Yeah.
It's a combination of poor planning on the publisher's part. It's also the way shipping has increased in price, and it's
come down now.
But it is still high.
Sure, but from China, it's not, right? I mean,
no, not from China. Just I'm talking about within the States.
Yeah.
It's gone up. So that's poor planning on their part, and that's one of the reasons why when it comes to gamers starting their own companies, most of them don't have business acumen, so they shouldn't really get into running a business without it.
Right.
And they end up getting these situations. That's why Kickstarter is starting to dull for a lot of people. And I don't really get on Kickstarter anymore, except for special cases like the one you just
guys I know. I'm not doing some fly by night.
No. Like
especially when you see some of the deals they're putting forward, it's like, hang on, you're selling this to me at retail.
Mm-hmm.
I'm giving you the money a year or 2 years in advance. No thanks, I'll wait because someone's going to hate your game, and I will buy it secondhand.
Exactly.
Or it'll be on what's that thing, Cool Stuff Inc. or whatever.
Yeah, Miniature Market, Cool Stuff Inc. Whatever. Yeah.
We hold on, Brad, you gotta go.
He just went quiet.
You're okay.
He's talking to the couch.
Yeah.
No.
Is the sofa okay, buddy? Go. One thing I did forget before we go any further?
I got a delay going because he's got his tablet right here next to me, so I can hear both ends of the conversation. Apparently, step out for a second. The big issue that I had with it was the fact that, okay, everyone could pay $5. Everyone could pay $8, whatever it was. But rather than divide the little bit of hurt amongst everyone, they divided the hurt amongst a small number of people. And it's like, why? If you use shipping to pay for half of your backers, that just means that whatever is left, the remaining backers have to cover it completely. So why are you going in that direction? If you know that, hey, we had a shortfall, we screwed the pooch, and now someone's going to have to pick up that tab, at least put that tab on everyone.
Yeah, but they don't have to, Nate. That's the problem, right? They don't have to. All they're saying to you is that our profit is more important than me getting the game to you, that you A, paid for, and B, paid for the shipping and the taxes and all the rest of it. You paid for all of that in good faith, and you decided, you know what? Fuck you. I'm not paying. Sorry, kid, for swearing. But sure. I'm not going to, I would not pay. I did this with a company that made a product on Kickstarter. It was something for my back and I really wanted it. And they said, oh, yeah, shipping. And it's a piece of plastic, right? Should cost like $7 to ship. They said $42. And I said, no, thanks.
Yeah.
Keep the money. Keep the Kickstarter money. And you know where you can put your little back doohickey thing. So it was $35 or something. And I wanted $40 for shipping. I said, that's not going to happen.
And what cracks me up is when they say, you can pay an extra $20 to get it shipped to you now because, shipping prices have gone up and blah, 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 blah. And by the way, back our new Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll expedite it for you. Oh, yeah, we'll get it right to you. Sure you will.
Look, Kickstarter has changed.
I don't want to change the topic, but one thing I did forget, C3I Magazine, which, hey, lots to talk about there. But the game in it is interesting, Desert Victory. There's maybe 20 counters on the map and a little bit of an odd game. Not as good as Kursk or I think it's Trevor's second or third game. I was a little underwhelmed with the gameplay. There just wasn't enough to do for either side. It was very difficult for either side to attack. So that's all I want to say was that was the other title that I picked up along the way. And thank you to Roger for sending me a complimentary copy, which I will be giving away at some point in the very near future. So sorry, Gimp, I didn't mean to jump on your parade about the shipping thing, but wanted to bring that up before I forgot it.
My whole point with it is I think the Kickstarter needs to change. We see how companies use it now. Yes, it didn't start as a pre-order system, but it has become a pre-order system. That's what it is now. That's exactly what companies like Compass use it for. So they know how many of X game to make, and that's fine. But that means that Kickstarter's business model needs to change.
Well,
there needs to
Compass
be accountability.
doesn't use it that way.
I don't know that Compass does
Compass
that.
uses it as an extra way of marketing. That's what they use.
Yeah.
They already have the copies of the games in. Hey, let's sell.
They're already in the warehouse.
Yeah. Let's sell a few hundred more. That's what it is.
Everyone thinks Kickstarter, and they go to Kickstarter because they deliver on time.
Yeah, they actually deliver. Yeah.
Right? Funnily enough, hey, I can plan my business. I can make enough copies and have enough left over for Kickstarter, and I know how much I'm going to charge for them. Oh, well, isn't that wonderful? Maybe that company that you bought the game from should. What's the name of the company, by the way?
Oh, this one, Grimlord.
Grimlord. So we should all know that we shouldn't do business with Grimlord anymore, or they should call Compass to see how the hell they should do things.
Yeah, Compass does fine. I really like their Kickstarters because within 5 or 6 months at most, I've usually got it in my hand. Right?
Right.
I'm more like 5 or 6 weeks, isn't it?
5 or 6 weeks, dude.
I'm saying at most. Sometimes it's quicker. Sometimes it's that long.
Why don't you just pre-order and pay later versus doing the whole
I do. I have some, but occasionally I don't see it or I miss it or whatever, and I'll just grab the Kickstarter.
You know they make more money if you don't do the Kickstarter, right?
No. I didn't know that. I'm not saying no. I'm saying I did not know that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kickstarter would take its little fee.
Yeah, they take 30%.
My thing is 30%. No shit. I thought it was like 8%.
So you raise $100,000, $30,000 off you go.
Is it 30? I thought it was 10%.
There's no way. 30% is.
I'm pretty sure by the time you do all the Amazon fees and the Kickstarter fees.
Oh, if you do the fulfillment through them and all. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's 30 points. And if it's not 30 points, it's 20. But whatever.
Pimps that charge less. That's outrageous. Yeah.
Why wouldn't they? Why would you charge less when people keep using it?
Yeah, it's 10%.
Yeah.
I mean, your fulfillment fee.
10 points.
I think that if I remember correctly, it's like 10% for just Kickstarter, and then generally the back end for your fulfillment and all that stuff, or your say your backer kit or whatever it is you want to call it, the back end software. That's like another 5, I think, 3 to 5, something like that. So you're looking at 15% off the top right there.
Right, but I thought Kickstarter is Kickstarter owned by Amazon?
I don't know if they're owned by Amazon or not.
Because I thought the payments were processed because so there's the fee that Kickstarter charges for hosting it, and then there's a fee that's charged for
Well, they
processing.
use Amazon fulfillment. Some people do use Amazon fulfillment. Some use
No, I'm just
Fun
talking about
Again.
payment fee. Is it like a payment fee?
Yeah, no, that would only be for fulfillment. I would
Okay, I don't
if
know.
they're warehousing and shipping. Because
Happy
they
to be
do
wrong.
that. Just like
Happy
Fun
to be
Again does and Quartermaster Logistics and all them. They do the fulfillment for a lot of these companies because it's easier. They can warehouse it, they can ship it out, and then you just have your Kev Sharp's war games, big board war games, and then you could just run it out of your house and you have no product on hand. It's all sitting in Quartermaster Logistics warehouse in Florida. You just process the order, boom, it goes to them, they ship it out, and it's done. You pay them their piece, and they, you get your piece. Well, you basically, I think they sell them to Quartermaster Logistics, or maybe they'll just hold on and pay you monthly, quarterly, or whatever, based on how many copies are shipped. Or I'm not sure exactly on that. That would be a good question for Mark when we get Mark on. Next month.
Curious.
Look,
We don't have to get exact numbers, but it would be nice to see the ballpark, percentages.
What's going on with Warfighter Fantasy? Because I stopped keeping track of their stuff for a while, but I've seen a bunch of the people talking about
Who?
DB who?
Yeah. What happened with them? I mean, the last I heard about it before I stopped paying attention, they were right there at either launching the Kickstarter or something, but that was like 2 years ago. So
How to make a war game company dead to me? Oh. Promote your son to manager.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really.
that's it shouldn't be that hard. I mean, I understand it was changing the time era, but they've done that before, and it should be interchangeable still. So unless they were making severe changes, it has to be combinable with Warfighter. That's the big thing about Warfighters. All of it mixes together. So what kind of huge changes could they have possibly made? The 500-page.
They're right there. The 500-page redundant universal rulebook. That is a good point, though, that you should have development done ahead of time.
Yes.
The majority, if not all. But then again, that's not something that Kickstarter is going to do. Because originally Kickstarter, when it started, was, hey, I've got this idea. Here's my concept. I need your money to be able to pursue this.
Right.
Whatever it was, whether it was a board game or a new mug or whatever the hell. And then you presented a valid enough, product that people would say, hey, I'm going to invest in that. And it was an investment to back, whatever product you were making. Now, not all of them fulfilled. Most of them did, but not all did. And that is a whole show in and of itself. But with games, it became one of these things where it started off where people were just coming up with ideas. I got this idea for this game. I want to put it up on Kickstarter. I'm going to show, here's my hand-drawn map, and here's my, and I'm not even talking about war games. I'm just talking about any game. Here's my hand-drawn map, and here's the pieces, and I'm using quarters and nickels for the pieces, and this is how it plays. And people go, wow, that would actually be cool if you had pieces. So, yeah, you're only charging $20 for it. Sure, I'll invest $20 and then get the game a year or two later. And in some cases, in a lot of cases, you ended up getting that game and playing it and going, this is crap. And then you sell it to somebody else.
Right.
But it was good and bad because it exploded in such a way that people like us were able to come up with an idea, self-publish essentially through that, and get a game out. And not all of them were good. A lot of them were not. Then there were some that were hot and really good. And it did launch a lot of careers that way as well. Gloomhaven's a good example of that. That game came out and it was just a monster hit. And people love that game. And I think I forget how many reprints it's in now. But
Frosthaven just released.
Yeah, Frosthaven. It did spawn a whole little industry there for itself. But it's one of those things where when you put out, and then Wargamers got into it as well, and like DVG, going back to the DVG thing, you have a proven system for them, Warfighter. They know how it works. Everybody knows how it works. They should have had development on how to have trolls and orcs and whatever in there, dragons and all that other crap. Just swap them out for aircraft, tanks, and infantry and all that stuff. Change your values and how to work spells and all that stuff, and then how to make them work with each other. That development should have been done prior to launching on Kickstarter.
Well, you know who does it pretty well too is Lock and Load Publishing. So I think the slowest
Yeah.
one so far has been Bitter Harvest, which I had a
I
play
just
of.
got that.
Yeah, I just got it, and it's good. It's
Mhm.
solid. Lots in there. Great artwork and great scenarios, and the expansion packs are awesome. So that most of that work was done before it was even put on Kickstarter. So that's how it should be. Now it has the benefit of having a system set of rules. So that's
Now, Joe, I need to clarify here. Does that mean you get an extra glossy map, or the map is extra glossy?
yes. Yeah. Where is that comma going?
Exactly. So, I mean, because that is one thing about their maps that are so. I mean, I don't know if you could even put that. That'd be a curious thing to try. Put a plexi on top of the map and see if it blinds you completely, or maybe it knocks down some of the glare on the map. But this is a good point too. Kickstarter started way before the $200 to $300 games became a thing. That really is Simon's thing because they came out with Zombicide and then
Right.
74 iterations of that and 750 miniatures per thing for $110 or $100. Now it's like 150, 300, whatever. And it was a good deal. But those companies really did not need Kickstarter.
Right.
They were using Kickstarter so that way they were not investing capital. You were. And people were on board with it.
Or you could do it the what are they called? Pacific Rim Publishing or whatever. Tibbetts, Jeffrey Tibbetts.
Mm-hmm.
For Coruscant
Pocket
too.
Yeah.
I mean, what a painful way to go about getting a game out, right? I mean, just thank God it's actually shipping, even though there are 2 errors. But thank God it's shipping.
Yes.
Now that's a big expensive game. What is it?
250, 300?
No, 225.
225. Okay.
225 shipped. So it's not a bad deal.
That's not bad. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot in that box.
Big ass game. It's a monster game. A lot of counters. 2 big maps. Yeah.
Joe is just rocking it tonight.
Yeah.
Part of the Gloss Leader series. Wow.
He must have fun with those maps when he tries to film.
I had to take down that joke video I made on DVG. Did you guys ever see that one?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I kept getting people who kept trying to copyright claim it. And I was like, you know what? Forget you guys. I'm just going to make it private. I'm not going to have anyone making money off of it. But that was back when I liked DVG.
Yeah, Worthington it does a good job with their Kickstarters too. They do deliver fairly, on time from what their projection is.
I find them expensive though. I don't know what it is about their games, the game quality, the counters, and the map quality and the artwork are always just a little. Now I haven't bought a game in a long time, so I shouldn't say that. Oh, there you go, Hex. Jeff is on the mission.
If it's that expensive, it should be pre-rounded counters.
Yeah, no, it's a Wargamers war game.
I actually got. They actually sent me a second set of counters. I don't know why. I think they're corrected ones. But
and being a Wargamers war game, part of it is clipping, or not to clip if you choose not to clip.
Yes.
No, you have to because I don't want to upset Stigler here.
You clip with the pinky up.
Where's my clipper?
With the pinky.
If you don't clip, you can't be part of the club, my dear friend.
2,400 counters of clip. That's like 10,000 clips.
You can't be.
Yeah.
You can only be a historical gamer.
So now, Alistair's saying a theory that you can mix and match between warfighter games is one thing. I'm not sure how well it will work across time periods.
What a stupid idea. Who came up with this idea?
Well, that was what Warfighter Fantasy was. It was supposed to be you could play in a dungeon crawl as Warfighter using the Warfighter system, or you could then, do time cross things where you send a team of Rangers from World War II into a dungeon to take on a dragon and trolls and orcs and all that other crap.
But I did that for one game. I had modern soldiers using modern equipment go back and fight zombie Nazis and Japanese.
Yeah, but they had that was part of their World War II game was the Nazi zombies.
Yeah, but I used the modern stuff, the modern equipment, from the original Warfighter, and it worked fine, which is the way it was supposed to. They just tried to make too many changes on Warfighter Fantasy because the core game shouldn't have been changing. They should have just added to that.
There's Brian.
So-
That's what we're talking about. Real man.
That's it. He is spot on. But of course, there is always a naysayer. Stigler. He's the anti-clipper.
No,
You know what, Stigler? You are a clipping gatekeeper. Let me tell you right now.
it depends on the
Yes.
publisher.
Oh my
Decision
goodness.
Games has to be
He's the
clipped.
clip keeper.
Oh, that's messed up.
The corner keeper, even better.
It's a
like
delay
that.
tactic to keep people from actually reading the damn rules and playing. Well, what if you sit down, read the rules while you're clipping?
Yeah. It's called multitasking, bro.
Exactly.
No, you know I'm
But-
right though that some companies you can get by without clipping their counters. They won't look like crap on the
Sure.
table.
Yeah.
But,
Name one. Who?
no, I'm not going
Blue Panther.
Who?
Trying to
Blue
think.
Panther.
No, well, you can't put them.
Exactly.
I've had GMT games that did all right without clipping them. They always look better clipped, but there are some that look horrible if you don't clip them. The worst I ever had was Empire of Struggles or whatever, that Space Empire solitaire game from Decision Games, and it was almost impossible to play unless you clipped the counters because they were all that bad.
Yeah.
Oh, Jeff is nailing it.
We've got so many great comments in the chat tonight. This is what we love about this show is you guys getting involved like this. This is what so much fun is to do this. But you can't because rule books won't stay open. You got to have both hands for full clipping. I will call BS on that because not all rule books will not stay flat. Perfect example, although you don't need to clip these, is Lock and Load Tactical. They use the spiral bound, which stays flat. So if you get a spiral bound book or you print your own copy, which a lot of people do, to not use their game copy, and they can mark up the copied one, it can lay flat. So your argument is invalid, sir.
Stigler, and I got a bone to pick with you. You and I are supposed to be playing Nacht Paris or whatever it is. So when is that happening? And have you played yet?
Yes. And there's also another valid point, Stigler. You could be reading it on your computer in PDF. So there you go. Anyway,
No,
And
most
then-
of Compass's
then
stuff is pretty
Jeff's got
minor.
convert the rulebook to PDF and turn on the voice read. That's another good one.
Nice.
You can see what Jeff does.
I can't consume rules like that, but that's cool.
That would be a good one.
I used to work with a guy that did that. He would have voice read for his emails. I was like, what are you doing? I can't concentrate. He's like, oh, I really need to hear this. I said, well, headphones.
You haven't played yet? Why? Were you clipping counters, Stigler? What's the delay on that? It's just going to bust your chops, man. We love you, man. But, so, okay, now that we've gone into Kickstarter, and we got to keep Nate awake, have you done anything with the other game that you just did an unboxing of? The modern game?
Who are you talking to?
You, Nate.
What other game?
The modern game that you just did an unboxing of.
What modern game?
Let's go to your channel.
I don't know what game you're talking about. I have no idea. I'm just here, dude.
Yes, I can tell.
Yeah, dude. That's awesome.
I'm just here.
Bro, I'm here.
In country. In country.
Let me see what I put up.
In
The
country.
Vietnam one?
In country, the modern one.
Oh, the mini one.
Yes.
I'm painting those minis up, and I've been building terrain.
What do you think of the mini quality?
The minis are great. Actually, I just wish they had gone a little bigger because they went with 28 millimeter scale, and I would have liked to have seen them gone with a 32 millimeter scale because the detail is so good on these minis. Like they're excellent, but they're going to be harder to paint at that touch smaller scale. I'd rather seen them charge a few dollars more to have the minis be that little bit bigger and to have all that great detail stand out. Because I looked, you cannot find modern era minis out there that are in plastic. You just can't find them anywhere. You can find the 172 scale stuff, which is like 15 millimeter, 10 millimeter.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's either too small or too big. You cannot find anything that is at the 148 to 156 scale, which is like 28 to 32 mil. The only way you can get it is pretty much resin. So either you're paying someone to print it for you or print it yourself. And these guys, they have some nice printers. I got to give it to them because whatever resin they're using is more durable than the resin I use. It does not break.
That was the other question I had, was like, how is the resin feel on that?
It's resin. It's only so durable. And for people who don't understand this, the plastic that you get, like FPL plastic or whatever. Forget.
Yeah, it's pliable.
It's pliable.
Resin's
It's
not.
durable. the FDM plastic, right? That stuff is good because you can drop it and not break it. It has some give to it. Resin doesn't. So depending on the formula of the resin, it's going to break rather easily. It can be brittle. These guys, I dry brushed them pretty hard, and they had small details like ACOGs and night vision scopes and all of the pouches for magazines, all this stuff. Never had a bit of it that chipped. It all stayed right where it's supposed to be. Perfect. Even the front sight tip on the rifles, still good. The resin I use, like the home resin stuff, would have chipped if I tried to dry brush them that hard.
Yeah.
So I gotta give it to them. They're holding in. But I'm looking forward to trying it. I haven't got into the rules too much. I want to get it printed up because I've got a character that's going to be one's going to be Mo and one's going to be Kev, and they're both going to have to get rescued because they were dummies. They got captured by the insurgents. You know, a couple of little guys that ran like hoods and they've been captured.
So that means you're going to be the character in the rear with the gear, calling in the tier 1 guys to come get us?
No. I got to come rescue you guys. Oh, come on.
I thought this was a modern game, not a fantasy game.
It is a modern. I can't get it to... There we go.
It looks good.
I'm just now painting these guys. Yeah, why is it...
Yeah.
Oh, the chest is green. That's why it keeps trying to do that. I was like, why is it doing that? The blue jeans, they work so well. The details on these things. Because if you can see, I dry brushed it. I painted it black and then dry brushed it with the different levels of gray.
Yeah.
So the details actually stand out on these things.
Mm-hmm.
So how many months before you get to play this game?
It shouldn't be more than I'd be done already if I hadn't been stuck in the hospital. So I spent an hour or two.
Just play without painting. You could paint later.
No. Oh, hell no.
No, just to get a feel for the system and how it plays.
Man. He's going to get the camera.
No, I'm not going to film it without painting it. The thing is,
I mean, just to play it, just to see how it plays, you can always do it that way.
By painting them the way I've done, where it's highlighted already, I can use something like a contrast or a speed paint, do one layer, and it's done. So I can chain these out now, and I should be done in a week or two.
Cool.
Just hit them with one layer, and then take them down to the table. I've already got some little huts built, some Haji hut looking crap, Middle Eastern looking huts. Got a little road, got some desert terrain, some vehicles already painted up, scatter terrain, all that stuff's already made. I made that a month back, or a couple months back. Just got to get the little minis painted, but you can see what I mean by like they're just a little smaller. This guy's on his knees, but I would have preferred him being just a little bigger.
Yeah, but it's not too bad. I mean,
I like those guys like that anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tactical game, so, the size is nice. I mean, it was 32 millimeter, it'd be nicer, but for a skirmish game like that, and it's supposed to be fast playing, which is why I got it too. I'm just waiting on my stuff because I've got more stuff that's still they're waiting on to get in.
Oh, you did the 2 waves?
I went all in.
Oh, did you get the big terrain set? Yeah. Oh, I'm so jealous. I hate you. I hate you so much now.
I was just like, it's modern tactical. I gotta go all in.
They had a nice Kev. If you didn't see it, that 3D terrain set compound. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you're talking about. Did you get that? Mm-hmm. Okay, Kev, we can kill him and we can take it. I'll help. He'll let us know he got it. We'll take it. We'll split it. It'll be fine. We'll
I'll hold him down and you can kill him, okay? You probably know how to do that.
Yeah, I'm good with that. Mo, come here. I got to talk to you about something. We're going to have a little chat.
All I got to do is walk swiftly and you won't be able to catch me.
That's true.
That's why I said I'd hold you.
Exactly. I'll be like, Kev, pizza. I'm going to just take a walk over here. And he's going to be like, come back here.
I was trying to find it. I can't find the damn... Oh, there it is. Another system similar to that. Why is it blotting out? Damn thing.
What is it that Kev has that Joe's looking for?
I think he means Nate, doesn't he?
148 tactic. Can you guys kind of see it there?
Yes.
Have you guys tried that one?
No. I don't do a lot of miniatures games. The only thing I have in that I will, play is because I got BattleTech stuff because I want to get, I want to try Alpha Strike, and then I have, of course, this modern miniatures because it's modern.
Well, for those who don't know, the 148 tactic, the box is, that big, and it's got 4 guys in it. Generally, they're metal. 4 pieces of like actual nice terrain, and then rules, tokens, dice, all that stuff you need. So a couple of boxes is all you need to like actually get a game going. But it's similar to the in-country stuff, accessible miniatures, but this is set in World War II, whereas in-country is modern.
Right.
Yeah.
Is it like a 2v2 type of thing? You said 4 models, or
It's 1v1, so you can expand the game as much as you want, but generally speaking, each side's going to have 4 minis, so it's like a fire team on fire team.
Okay.
And then you're focused
they're
on like the
fairly
specific
quick playing.
ones. Yeah, like very quick playing. You're going to issue orders like take cover, aim. Like the guys are running around as individuals, not a squad.
Right. So just like combat, basically.
Yeah.
But not solitaire, obviously. Yeah.
You can play solitaire.
I played a solitaire. I had fun. with it.
Not a solitaire system.
Yeah, per se.
No.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be covering that one because they actually had another Kickstarter as well, and it should be delivering within the next couple of months. They had some production issues, but I'm looking forward to that one because it's similar to In Country. It's just World War II stuff, but the components are very nice.
So, now that we've talked miniatures and bored Stigler to death, it's all part of the plan. Don't worry, Stigler. We hope we did not hold you back from your decision games that you were digging into there. But we are going to go on to our next topic. I know Kev has something he was really interested in talking about. Don't act innocent.
Retirement homes?
Metropolitan Wargamer.
Oh, yeah. Well, so what are they called? Armchair Dragoons
Yes.
had an article critiquing the C3I magazine, one of the 3 articles in there, which has now become quite a theme in C3I magazine, right? Where we're trying to change the dynamic or change the vocabulary and the approach to wargaming. And rather than let people find their way to wargaming, we need to, what I take away from it is we need to dumb down and change, and we all need to change and stop being gatekeepers. And just the mere fact that we're white and playing war games that are more than 12 pages of rules that deal with complex issues and topics, that we're bad people, basically, right? That's, if I was going to sort of net it out, that's not what it says, but that's what it implies, right? And so it's now being the last 2, maybe 3 issues of C3I magazine. And of course, there's folks that are on that bandwagon and want to push that bandwagon and expand the using the canard that, if we don't expand the hobby will die. And I don't see the hobby dying.
It's the new tactic to use the same old argument that's been going around for the past 50 years.
If we don't
Draining of the hobby, it's dying.
Change, it's going to be bad, and the hobby will die. So we have a problem, but the good news is we have a solution. We're really not sure what the problem is, but here's the solution to the problem we don't know. And it's all about opening, making the tent bigger. And it's just another excuse to run around and throw your hands up in the air and be a sissy and go, the sky's falling. So just stop. I'm not going to crochet. Don't care about crocheting.
It's okay.
Not
I've
interested.
got it muted.
I'm really not, interested
night,
in all these
Stinky.
other bits and pieces in the world. I'm not really interested in minis, although I am mini curious.
I'm mini curious.
So just let me go do my thing. You go do your thing, and we'll see. And if the hobby lasts, that's great. If it doesn't, that's okay too. It's not a problem. But don't try and tell me that everything has to be called a history game and everything needs to look like freaking Undaunted whatever, or Rails for the Rhine or some nonsense like that, and say that they're all historical military conflict or military history games, because they're not. Because war games have their place, as do little war games, and we can all just freaking coexist. And you go do your shit, and I'll go do my shit, and F off if you don't like it. That's kind of what I think.
No, I mean I agree with you. There are definite differences between historical games, board games, and war games.
Train games are historical games.
Yes, especially if you have 18 in front of them.
It's historical. We're all together now.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's the one I always go to is when they say, war games or historical board games. They're the same thing. It's like they're in the same historical genre, but I mean you're talking different games. This is a strategy game or a Euro. This is a war game that's hex and counter or point to point or whatever. But it's all about kinetic warfare. That would be like saying to a train gamer, an 18xx hex gamer, it's like, well, I play Ticket to Ride. I'm a train gamer. No, you're not.
Right.
You're a set collection player.
Right. So imagine if we did that to train gaming. If all the train gamers, they're all old and they're all white and they're all angry and they're all mean and they don't let anyone in. What if we said, hey guys, you need to fucking let all these war gamers come in and play war games with you and sit side by side and embrace them. Well, don't touch them unless you ask, but embrace them, right? Embrace them and engage them and be diverse and inclusive and all this stuff and do all that shit, or else you're a bad person. Yeah. And what would the train war gamers? What would the train gamers say? They would say that.
Fuck off.
So just we can all be under a big tent gaming board game.
We are.
And we're off here in our tiny little niche doing our thing. There's more war games available now than there have ever been in all scales and categories of complexity and interest and all the rest of it. So just let the fucking hobby do what it wants to do. I don't know.
Hey, Mark.
Yep. See you, Mark.
Hopefully you can continue to fight, man.
So anyway.
But no, I agree with you. There is definitely a difference between historical board games and war games, and there is a definite delineation between the two. And I don't like the whole idea of what I don't like is this attack on war gamers, like we're the gatekeepers and we need to change our ways. No,
because we haven't been welcoming at all, right?
Yeah, and that's bullshit. I call bullshit on that 100%. Yeah. I've never seen anyone deny anyone to play a war game. I've actually been in one instance where somebody said they saw it happen, where they saw somebody was disrespectful to a female gamer. And I asked that person, what did you do to that guy?
Right.
And they did nothing. And I said, that's your problem.
Right.
If someone disrespects a female in front of me, I'm going to say, knock it the fuck off. Because that's the way my mother raised me, to be respectful to ladies. And that's just the way I am. And I think most men are. But this whole thing that we're hostile is a straw man argument. It's bullshit. And it's a waste of our time. It's a waste of time.
Yeah, and so I just because I'm paying $40 for the friggin' magazine so I can get the freaking game in it and the pieces for the GMT games, because it's a GMT rag. You can call it whatever you want, but it's a GMT rag, right? the fact that I've got to buy this freaking magazine and then put up with the bullshit that's in it. Like a third of it is this nonsense, and there's a couple of other articles in there that are in the same vein that just like gag me with a spoon, dude. Just please stop. And it just all boiled up to a point, I think, because I saw a whole bunch of posts about some other stuff, and I was like, okay, I've had it with this bullshit. And
well, there are people that are jumping on
that article, right?
Yeah, there are people that are jumping on it and trying to further the cause. Yeah, and it's like there is no cause. I've never said no to a person. The only rule I have at my table is don't be an asshat.
Yeah.
And please wash. Don't sit down and stink.
I've taught hundreds of people how to play war games, like war games and lock and load and, combat commander and all this stuff.
So, yeah, I mean, it's... Uh-oh.
Did he lag out?
There
you go. Now he's
or a copy playing a game, and guys will come and guys, girls, whoever will stand there and go, what is this?
Yeah,
come on, sit down, come and hang out. I mean, we don't go, who the fuck are you? Do you play war games? Oh, I play Risk. No, go away. I mean, I've never heard anybody do that.
Well, see,
everyone always tries to engage.
What bothers me is in that article, because I went and read it after I saw you posting about it, was the fact that they were talking up that whole Zenobia Awards thing. And they were saying how, that's a good thing, and, they're doing that. And the only people I ever see talking that stuff up like it's a good thing are people who judge others based on what they look like. Because people who don't do that don't think that something like that is a good thing. They just don't, right? Last I checked, I have never once picked up any game on any of my shelves here or the piano and ever had it say anything about what color or gender someone was who made the game. It says their name. Designed by Joe Schmo. That's it. And I frankly don't care. I don't care what anyone looks like. There are some publishers or designers rather that I'll follow and I'm more likely to buy their product without testing it because I have liked their previous stuff.
Yep.
But I never gave a crap what they look like. So if you're creating an award system that is not awarding someone based on their productivity in the hobby, and you're only awarding them if they meet certain immutable characteristics.
Right. So you have to be African American from a tiny little country somewhere and be, 4 genders to be allowed to apply to get an award in this particular category.
Well, that's just, it's pandering. It's insulting. It's like, you're not able to compete with everybody, so we're going to make an award system that just you get to compete in.
Yep.
Well, see, the thing about that is now I'm all for having mentoring system and things like that to help people that are curious about design. That, hey, I've got ideas, I just don't know where to start. And I bet you a lot of people that are like that in, when it comes to games. Then have a system for that. Say, hey, we know how to do these design, we know how to develop whatever. Come on in here, we can show you. We'll sit down and we'll see what kind of idea you have, and we'll try to work on it. Doesn't matter who you are. Now, I can understand doing that. What I don't like is the cry for inclusivity while at the same time being exclusive or excluding.
Right. Yeah.
And that's the hypocritical part of it. Yeah. And, what they do is they say that they're doing that for marginalized people. And I don't see that in wargaming.
Well, how marginalized do you have to be? Right, because everyone walking the planet today is mixed to some extent, right? So that's what I'm saying is like, what level? Do you have to submit a DNA test that shows you're marginalized to at least 20%, 40%?
Make a good game, and I will try it out. But I'm not going to try it out just because you're some unique something that the xenophobic games decided that you were eligible for. And that's not why I'm going to buy your game. I'm going to buy your game because someone told me it's a great playing game. It covers some great history. Mm-hmm. Like White Tribes covers some fantastic history about the racial tensions in Rhodesia that became Zimbabwe. It's a fascinating topic. Yeah. It's not a particularly engaging or interesting game for me for a solitaire game. It doesn't do what I'm looking for. But the history that it shared, and what does that say?
Dingo Firestorm.
Dingo Firestorm.
Yeah, that was the big Fire Force.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I mean, you just gotta let people make the games they want to make, and if they're popular because they're good, that's why they're popular. It's not because the dude is black or brown or yellow or orange or purple. It's because it's a good game.
Yeah, yeah, and it really comes down to it's all about merit. Whether you can
Right.
design a good game and it's a fun game
Right.
and all that stuff.
Like,
And
what's
good.
Morgane's title? The coin game. About, was it Avalon or something like that?
Yeah, it was
Rome. It was the
Rome and Britain. Help us out. I totally
Pendragon?
went brain dead. What was that?
You talking about Pendragon?
Pendragon. Yes.
Pendragon. That's it. Thank you. King Arthur. Right. So that's a great game, right?
Mhm.
No, I didn't buy it because she's transgender. I bought it because it's a great game.
Mhm.
End of story. That's it. Thanks for playing. Right? Literally, thanks for playing.
Yeah.
So just move on and let's all just go do our thing. Right? Anyway,
Well,
I'm sorry, I cut you off.
No. And that's the thing is there's all this. It's unfortunately a few years ago, political things really started creeping into gaming, primarily in the hobby space. And everybody was judging people at the table. Prior to that, it was, hey, everybody's welcome at my table. And then it became, everyone's welcome at my table if you fit my criteria. And I need to know your political background and all this. It's like, no, I game to escape that stuff.
Right.
That's what I'm there for. That's what we're all there for. We go into fantasy land and we're going to be a friggin' dragon slayer or whatever the hell we want to be. We're going to play a war game. We want to get into that historical mindset and relive history or a what if or a sci-fi game. We're going to be like Buck Rogers or whoever. It's there for fun.
Right.
And we've forgotten that games are about fun together and fellowship. And everybody now is being judgmental, and that really caused a lot of problems in the hobby game side of things. And now I'm seeing that starting to creep into the war game side of things. And
Right. It's a migration, right?
Yes.
They've had their fun,
they've
up
you
Eurogame world.
yeah, they've messed up their place where they've been at. Now they want to try to get into war games because, well, we've always been excluded. No, you just didn't want, because the thing that gets me is we've always been excluded. And then they start going, well, war games need to change. You can't use the case system. There's no need for a 60-page rule book. And did you even try to read the rules? Did you even see why there's 60 pages of rules?
Have you seen some of these Euro games like Frosthaven or Gloomhaven or whatever it's called?
Yeah.
Those
It's
things
like
are 40,
80,
50
90 pages.
Yeah.
Easy.
Oh yeah. But that's the thing. They're saying there are some, not all. There are some that are saying, well, we feel excluded and we're left out, and you need to change your way. It's like, if you think that you can do a war game different or better, by all means do, and show it to me, because I want to play it if it's a good game. It's that easy.
I'm one of the first guys whoever has a game design or an idea or an interest, or someone's trying to start their own company, Thin Red Line Games and Vento Nuovo and and multiple other companies that I have said, I'm all in on what you're trying to do. I don't even really like block games that much, Vento Nuovo, but you are doing different things, different art, different blocks, different quality components, different rules, different approach. I love that. That enriches our hobby and makes it better. I don't care who you are, so it just, I don't know, it just really boils my butt.
Well, you notice how you need to change. You need to change. Mo needs to change. Others need to change. And that's the thing, like the guy who wrote that article was coming in talking about, instead of designing or doing something different on his own accord, he doesn't want to do that. He wants everyone else to change how they're gaming, change what they enjoy to fit what he thinks you should do. And to me, that is the epitome of arrogance, is that you think you know better than everyone else. And that you should decide what everyone else gets to game because your idea of gaming is better than theirs. Yes. And your idea of wargaming is better than anyone else's. So you should get to dictate the length of the rule book, who can get awards, what they can publish on, what topics are go, no go, all this other type crap. And to me, it's just arrogant.
Which is why the whole Charlie's is falling in a hole too. I'm sure we're going to see the crossover of that sort of pollution that's going on in the hobby, in that social reconstruction going on in the Charlies in the next 2 or 3 years, unless someone puts their hand up and says, "Hey, can we just look at the quality of the game first?" But
Well, also you need to break the games apart because,
right.
there are games that like a perfect example, Red Flag Over Paris. That won Best War Game for I don't shoot me. I can't remember the category. It was in pre-Napoleonic, not pre-Napoleonic, but it was like Napoleonic or whatever. Someone in the chat can correct me. I don't recall off the top of my head. That didn't belong in that category. That should have been in a historical game category, not in a war game category. It's not a war game, and it's not centered on kinetic warfare,
Right.
and so that is unfair to that game,
Right.
and it's unfair to the other games in that category to make a comparison because people that are going to play this game with a few pages of rules versus the other ones with longer rules, there's one reason why, and then the other is they're just totally different games, totally different mechanics, totally different styles of play.
Right.
So it's not fair to make that. It's not apples to apples. So if someone has remembered which category it is, I'll check.
Yeah, so it's interesting. My yeah, I know it's so funny. Stuka's on a roll if you just go look at some of these comments. But I look at my wargaming buddies from Austin, and half of them are what I would call liberal or extreme. One of them in particular is an extreme liberal, and then the other two are just, I would say one's an extreme conservative and the other is just a regular guy. I would like to think I'm just a regular guy. I grew up in a socialist democracy, so I've lived now in both sort of versions of the systems that are kind of around. But we didn't talk about politics. Well, we did talk about politics, and we all agreed not to talk about politics because it got in the way of the gaming, right? So we all got along and had spent hundreds and hundreds of hours together over years and years, over the last 10 years, just playing games because we all have an interest in the topic at hand, not because we were trying to change the world of wargaming. So it's just disheartening to me that we even have to have this conversation, or that we don't have to have this conversation. And I hope it's the last time we do. But the fact that we're discussing it shows that it's, for me anyway, just because I hope I have my finger on the pulse a little bit of the gaming community. I feel like it's a topic that keeps bubbling up, and there are these folks that keep agitating for a change that's not necessarily needed to solve a problem that doesn't exist. So
the key word is the one key word out of what you just said is perfect, agitating, and that is, there's no need for that. Right. It really isn't. What Jay says here is perfectly. It's said, I believe, a bit tongue in cheek, but it's also 100% accurate. Wargamers have always been elitist. I demand of my gaming comrades civility, literacy, and intelligence. Now, the intelligence is going to be varying levels.
Yeah, because we got some.
The literacy, the same thing.
Right.
But civility is the key. We can sit down and we can have a chat and disagree over rules or whatever, but be civil. Be civil. And the key right there with you left your mic on. The key with the people who are wanting these changes is they're trying to push and be pushy about it and turn it into activism. And there's no need for activism.
Well, they've been doing it in other hobbies. And when he talks about games needing to be elitist, if you really think about it, every type of gaming out there is elitist to one extent or another. It doesn't matter if it's Magic the Gathering or Warhammer 40,000.
Warhammer 40K is the worst because you got to follow their rules and you got to have their stuff and paint it their way.
Exactly. Think how much you have to learn, though. I mean, there's tens of thousands of Magic cards now. I mean, those people become elite at what they do. The same thing with Warhammer 40,000. The rule book on that thing is that friggin' thick. And then you got a codex for each one of the different forces. I mean, to game it with any type of...
That's different, too. That's all a money grab on their part.
Point is you have to be elite at that hobby to play it. Wargaming's no different. Trying to attack the hobby saying the rule books are too big. I mean, compared to who? I mean, compared to 40,000, it's not even in the realm. I mean, there's are hundreds of pages, and that's a rule book, and you need many. Right?
See, now I want to go back to the point Stigler makes here. He says entire games have been ruined because of the conversational rules writing style. There's a reason the case system works.
Yeah.
And it is exactly right, because the thing about it is that I think a lot of non-war gamers don't understand, and this is due to ignorance. And I say this in all honesty, not ignorance as in they're ignorant people, that they're bad. It's just they're ignorant of the reason for the case system. It's instructions. Step 1 is this. Rule 3.1 is this. Then 3.2 does this. 3.3 does this. And then you have 3.3.1 is a subset of 3.3. What was I? 3.3.
Yeah.
I'm getting myself confused. But you're breaking it down in that ladder format. And there's a reason for that. It's logical and it makes sense. And it can be daunting, in fairness, for, we're experienced in it, we know. So it can be daunting. Well, that's where you say, okay, best way to do it is sit down with standard combat system. 7-8 pages of rules, case format. Right. You can get the gist, you can get the basics, then you can move on to another game. A step up.
But if you're interested,
exactly.
history, if you're interested in that, then that's awesome. And if you're not, and if you think you might be interested, go play a deck builder, right? So go play Undaunted Normandy or Africa or whatever those games are. Go play a gateway game and get a taste for it and think, oh, that was pretty cool. What else can I play? Which is what I've had. I get lots and lots of DMs from people going, oh, well, I played this and I played this, and I'll, send them 3 games they should take a look at, right? Or if they're really nice, I'll send them a game, right? Just, hey, go play this SES title and give it a go and tell me what you think, right? So there's lots of ways to attack the hobby.
Love you.
It's not, and there's no reason for you to feel excluded, particularly now with amazing rule books with examples of play, clear, sometimes case rule books get screwed up, right? They just
are
not good.
There are mistakes, errata,
There's
things
a lot
like
of bad case rule books out there. Like GTS is a great example of a bad conversational rule book. There are many case-based rules systems that are really crappy, and DG owns a lot of them. But that said, there's many different ways for people to approach a game or the game, our hobby, without getting spun up around the axle, saying, "Oh my God, it's got 60 pages of rules. I can't do it."
See, I'm gonna do something real quick here. I just want to show something because this is one game that gets talked about a lot. So we're going to use this as an example of this. We've got here. Not that one. Let me stop that. That's not what I was trying to share.
So is that Cold War one?
No, let's see, where the hell is it?
Watch him pull up his string. He's got like some guys and G strings on there or some shit.
Oh, that's my screen.
Oh, that's the link you sent me before. No, the one I was trying to pull up here is see if we can get this thing to go away.
Twilight Struggle. There it is.
Twilight Struggle, yes. Yeah. That's what I was trying to show. Is here we go. All right. Twilight Struggle.
Yeah. That's
case system.
Yeah,
uses the case system.
Right.
All right. This right here, 2.1.5, 2.1.6. Design note, 2.1.7, 2.2.4, 2.2.5. This is all a case system.
Right.
And this gives you
and that's
a format. And that is not, it is not a war game. It is a strategy game.
I'm just checking with you.
I know you were going to say that. But, I mean, it's a strategy game. It's not even a war game. And it breaks it down because it uses that similar type of format, that similar logic flow. So it's just one of those things where, it kind of cracks me up. I had to pull that up because I know that's the one that the go-to that everybody talks about is, Twilight Struggle. Is it a war game or not? That's that sort of thing. And it's like the case format works,
Right. Yeah, the case format does work there. So it's funny, like people give me a hard time over Twilight Struggle. I was in what's that store? Complete Strategist in New York.
Yes.
I was in that store last week in New York, and I recommended Twilight Struggle to two dudes. Right? They were like, oh, and they were from Germany. They're like, what should we play? And I'm like, oh, well, if you've never played a war game before, what have you played before? And they told me. And so I recommended Twilight Struggle. And I said, if you want a 4-player game, go get Root, which was up on the top shelf. I said,
Sure.
go get that. It's a asymmetric conflict. They're games I just have zero interest in playing, but I respect what they're doing for the hobby and how good they can be for the hobby.
And they have an audience.
And they have an audience. And so, of course, I would recommend it so that more people would be able to play, and then they get drawn into our little psychopathic world, right?
That's a great way that's a great endorsement for wargaming, our great little psychopathic world. No, I agree. You know, it's like, okay, what are you looking for? Well, I'm looking for something that does this. Okay, here's a game for you over here.
Right.
If you want to get this type of game, you know, because the number one question everyone asks that is new to wargame, you see it all the time on the Facebook groups and BGG, CSW, wherever. Recommend me a wargame. I'm new to wargames. Okay, we got to ask you some questions first. What are you interested in? What era? And then the person's like, I just want to shoot at things. Is it World War II? Is it World War I? Is it Civil War? Is it Napoleonics? Is it sci-fi? What is it? And then from there you can help give direction, you know. And then of course you want to start them off if it's a new wargame. You're not going to say, yeah, go play Case Blue because you can't find it number one, and you don't want to give them a monster. So you start them off with something they can get into, and that'll get them excited, whether it's Twilight Struggle or Root or whatever, to get them excited to play in games and get them addicted and get them wanting to play more. And then they go, oh, this was a great suggestion. And then they can evolve from there into their own interest. And that's the thing that everyone's forgetting. Everyone has their own interest. Number one thing for war games is an interest in history. The number one thing for historical games is also an interest in history. The difference between historical games, just historical games, and war games is you want to get into the historical fight, you know, that side of the history. You want to get into examining the actual kinetic warfare side. You can also examine the kinetic, not kinetic, but the non-kinetic side, like Twilight Struggle, if you're interested in Cold War history. That is the type of game where you can kind of get into the Cold War history, but it also can be a turnoff of a game for people because really that game is all about mastering the deck. So that's a little different. But if you play with a person that's trying to just teach you, then it's not a factor. But you can still, as you're reading the card, you can get historical snippets from it. You can gain a level of understanding, a better level of an understanding of the Cold War. So
totally. You know, there's flaws in all these games, these game systems. Right? Everyone's super excited about Combat Commando, right? But once you get to being a card shark and understanding the deck mix, it's a completely different game, and it's no longer, to me, a war game. It just becomes this card counting exercise. If I know that you've played 2 out of your 7 fire actions, that means that you have 5 left in the deck as we rotate through.
Yeah.
You know, so all that sort of stuff.
And it becomes more deterministic than
it becomes deterministic, and it's all percentages and probabilities, and versus tactics and strategy. Now I'm just playing the cards. So I'll change my strategy based on what you're doing, what you've played. If you're a rookie, and you know,
then you're gaming it.
I've seen it where someone will say, "Oh, you only have a 1.7% chance of this bad thing happening to you," and then, of course, what happens next? The bad thing, because this dude happened to have that card in his hand as he's trying to teach you. It's like, really, you're really not trying to get me engaged in this system, are you? You're making it not fun. It's like letting your kids win the first few times just to give them a feel for it.
Yeah.
There's a great point.
Who are they saving it? Who are they saving it for? They're not helping anyone by writing articles like that. They're just not. It's not helpful to them, to anyone else.
What articles like that and saying things like that, I think actually what it does, instead of, it's not saving anything because we're already in war games. Those who are not see that, and then they gain an opinion of war games based on that. Because like, oh, those war gamers are really bad people.
Right. How
You
often
have
have
no
we seen that,
experience.
right? How
Yeah.
often have we seen that? Where
Yeah.
where no one, someone's never met a wargamer, yet they're off writing articles or
Yeah.
making comment on Twitter and all the rest of it. Oh yeah, they're a bunch of assholes and whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like when they say stuff like, women are gate kept out of wargaming. Really,
Please.
they're not. Like, if you have a girl that comes in, hey, I want to play too. Yeah, by all means, pull up a chair. What guy is going to say no? I don't want you to play with us.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, there's the very rare occasional a-hole. I get that, but that's the exception, not the rule.
I've had guys kind of. There's some guys when they're in the middle of a game, they're like, you come up and oh yeah, what's going on? They're like, yeah, this is so and so game, and they're concentrated so much on the game, and they're deep
Totally
into it. That's not gatekeeping. That's just you caught them at the wrong moment. And then later, half the time, well, at least half the time, people are going to say, hey, sorry I was short with you before, but I was trying to figure out how to get myself out of the position I put myself in or something like that. Now, John is saying here, he thinks the Zenobia people are also trying to see games on topics that are not typically gamed. And that's a good point, that they are looking at other subjects, historical subjects, and that's great. That's very welcome. Yeah. No one's going to shoot that.
Except that you have to be a certain type of person in order to participate in that program. Otherwise, you could just design your game and take it to Legion, and Legion would publish it more than likely. Or you could kickstart it yourself and not have to go around and try and
deliver it in 4 years and then have shipping issues.
There you go.
And they'll only let you publish it if they agree with the topic that you're publishing.
Well, yeah, that too. Because then they'll want you to have cultural consultants and things like that. And there's something to be said on having people that have experience in it be involved. I agree with that 100%. But when it comes to talking about a historical battle or something like that, you're doing as much research as you can on the order of battle to be as accurate to the war, for example, the battle that you're doing, as you can, and not we've how many times have we seen orders of battle change over the years? Well, this is what we knew at this time, and then 20 years later, further research, we found out this unit was not there, stuff like that. So now when someone designs a new game on that same battle, that unit is not included that was in the other game. So it's one of those things where research really is what it comes down to.
Yeah, but come on, they pulled this same crap with Frosthaven, which is entirely fictional based.
What do they do with Frosthaven?
There's a lot of specifics to it. You'd have to look it up. Look up Update 80. I remember it was Update 80 on Frosthaven, and on their Kickstarter he goes into it. But the dude actually hired a cultural consultant to make sure that they were being sensitive to vulnerable peoples and the making of Frosthaven.
In a fantasy game?
And I'm like, these creatures don't exist. They're all...
that's what I mean.
It's like the Lord of the Rings, right? That new Lord of the Rings show where they're, trying to make...
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't say.
Uh-oh. John says, as a combat commander playing, I'm going to disagree violently with Kev. God, such violence.
You can disagree. It's a wargaming chat. We can be violent. It's okay, but it's a card game.
Such violence.
John can't be violent. He's in the Philippines. He's a whole half world away.
Let's see. I'm trying to find these articles.
So that was the question. John was saying, who wrote the article?
Yeah.
Hey Nate, if you're drifting, you can bow.
Do I look like I'm drifting?
No, you were saying you were tired.
I've fallen asleep on you twice. I didn't know.
I kind of
And then there's
I told you stuff puts me out.
And then there's the another one here. Goodness me, where is it?
Yeah, he's right. Brian is. He's talking about Wizards of the Coast. I don't know who Paizo is, though.
Paizo, they do Pathfinder.
Yeah, I could see
it's another fantasy game. It's another Dungeons and Dragons.
Look, I know it's kind of off topic, but it is on topic in a way. But Wizards of the Coast caught some major flack about a week ago.
Oh, the OGL shit, yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole other topic.
But I couldn't believe their executive said that. If you don't know, go look up their Wizards of the Coast executive and what he said. Outrageous. It's just outrageous. Like, how do you not know that you're going to alienate your entire audience by doing that? It doesn't matter what they look like. They're not going to like you saying rude, bigoted crap.
What did Fantasy Flight do? Add that in the chat. Go ahead.
Didn't
Kev.
Fantasy Flight do?
No, you're okay. I don't even know what I was going to say. Oh, the last article with Riccardo Massini's An Ocean Apart, Wargaming in the Land of Eurogames. So 3 articles in one. Although, Harold...
Wargaming in the Land of Eurogames.
Yeah, he's a European dude.
Okay.
Trying to wargame and how...
I thought you were talking about crossover.
The article I tuned out. Anyway.
And you said that was in C3I?
Yeah,
The
it's
most recent.
the one with this Desert Debris thing, which has great art, cover, and all the rest of it, and that's where it kind of stops. So, but there is a very cool GMT Great Battles of History expansion for revised rules for skirmishes, which is really cool, and revised counters as well. So that's
for a specific game or just their Great Battles?
SPQR, I think.
Ooh, I got that one.
But yeah.
Wait, do I have that one?
One of the things...
I got that one.
Backtrack a little bit here very quickly. There was, I can't remember the name right now off the top of my head, but that Finnish game that I think, Nate, you covered as well.
Freezing Inferno?
Freezing Inferno, thank you. That game that we covered earlier last year, that is a perfect example of an introductory war game for somebody who's never played war games. You're going to get some, basic hex and counter gameplay. You're going to get the feel of a war game because it's a basic war game. And you're going to enjoy, if you like historical war games, you're going to enjoy that. Now, the historicity is not going to be as rigid as it is in other games.
Is that a word?
But it is going to be, what's that?
Is that a word?
Yes, it is.
Historicity?
Historicity.
I'm going to look that up.
You can use it next.
But you're not going to get necessarily the same historical accuracy as you're going to get in something else that covers that war, the Winter War, because that's not what its intent is. Its intent is to be a basic war game to get you in and get you playing and have fun. It's got very straightforward mechanics, not hard to play, and that's a great introductory game right there. From there, then you can continue on. You can go get Red Winter or something like that if you like that theme and that theater. So everything is a stepping stone. You don't have to look at, I can't play this game. It's got a 60-page rule book. Well, there's a lot of wargamers that don't want to touch 60-page rule books. There's nothing wrong with that. You can go play something that has 5 or 10 pages. I've played many war games that are 4-page, 6-page, 8-page rule books and had a wonderful time. Because there's a lot of times where, I had a long day, but I want to play something. I don't want to pull this thing out because it's going to take too long to set up. It's 30 pages I got to refresh on. This is 4 pages. I could throw it on the table and jam it out in an hour and a half.
Yeah. Look at all the Hollenspiel games. They're great format. White Dog games, great format where you've got 10 or 12 pages of rules, and you can you can sit. Sometimes the rules aren't great, but generally speaking, with 10 pages of rules, it's really pretty clear and concise. So, they're perfect for you to sit down. Particularly there's so many solitaire games now out as well, so you can sit down by yourself, take a half an hour, and play a small game, set it up, work it out, and just roll some dice and have some fun. And you don't have to worry about being included in anything or anything. Just get out there.
Well, yeah, and right here is what Jeff's saying here. Can't we all just play and get along? That's exactly our attitude, and we do have that attitude. All 3 of us have that attitude. I think the majority of wargamers do, and that's the absurdity of these articles.
Right.
Is acting like we don't want that. We do. We're inclusive as far as, hey, if you want to sit down and play a war game, sure. If you've never played it and you just want to watch and ask questions, just also have the respect to the 2 people that are playing. not to interfere with their game by asking questions. Hey, why are you doing this? What's that? Sit there with the rules and figure it out yourself.
Yeah.
Go
Right.
for it. Ask a question here and there. That's fine.
Yeah. You know, there was a point in time where when I first got back into the hobby and I was asking questions, and some of them were pretty dumb, right? And I did get a lot of grief and a lot of aggravation from guys that, it was in the cesspool of CSW's forums, right? But I was kind of needy and insistent because I was new and I was like trying to work out TCS and I was trying to work out OCS and was way out of my league and I was just getting back into wargaming. And I thought some of the, as I think I said, you mouth-breathing, obese old white guys ought to just go pound salt, right? Because I got kind of pissed off because
Go pound sand. Yeah.
No, sand, yeah. So because I wasn't getting any love, right? So were they gatekeepers? No, they didn't want to deal with some dumbass asking stupid questions. And I get that. Like now, having been back in the hobby for 11 years, you see people ask the same question over and over and over, and then do a little bit of homework and read the forums or do a quick little search and try and work it out for yourself. Everyone's so needy and then to some extent expects to be handheld through everything. Just go read the magazine, bro. I'm not going to go. I just named 3 articles, so it's most of the magazine except for Herman's articles are awesome in there, and there's articles on Lutman's games that are awesome in there. There's other really, really good content, and there's a full freaking first 2 or 3 turns of the opening campaign for the Japanese and Pacific War from Mark Herman. There's a lot of really good stuff in there, smattered in with all this we'll call it woke, all this woke stuff or whatever it is, stuff. So anyway,
there is something that is being brought up here, and I agree with it. I think we need to start a movement to correct this. There are games that are not inclusive. All right. Solitaire games are not inclusive. We need to change that.
Yeah. All solitaire games need to have a 2-player option.
Need to have 2 players
and a 4-player option, right? Because really, and it needs to be on a very glossy map.
Now Mike says he plays solitaire with me, myself, and I. So he's turned every solitaire game into a 3-player game. Outstanding.
Yep. Outstanding. Mike's on the program.
And then we have Ed just joining us in here.
Hey, Ed.
Yes, the inability to do one's own research in any way, shape, or form does get
Oh
annoying.
my gosh. Please just do. I mean, I'm the worst for that because I know I can send Fabrizio an email or a message and go, hey dude, how do I do this? And he'll just go, rule X. I'm so lazy, right? I'm the worst at that once I know a designer. It's terrible. So I'm part of the problem there. I said it.
Now this is a good point. When you're recommending for a new player, make sure the game is currently available. Don't send them on the wild goose chase of finding something out of print. That is not fair.
No, so, they can always get it from Noble Knight 4 times the cost.
Yes, and pay 4 times the cost. Solitaire Game Convention. This is a great idea.
That's called a war game convention.
Alone together.
Actually, if you think about it, Solitaire has really expanded in the past 5-6 years.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's a topic for a show.
Every game, it doesn't matter if it's Euro, Ameritrash, War Game, whatever it is, almost everything now, someone wants a Solitaire option with it.
Yep.
Now, Tim says, my first question when I came back to War Games was answered on BGG with read the errata, and I realized I've been a dumbass. Now, that's not a dumbass question. That's if you just said to yourself, you just came back to War Games, so you were not familiar with the term errata at the time, and you may have been, but when you came back to it, you're like, oh crap, I forgot about errata. Oh yeah, that's a great point. And then you go check the errata.
Tim, the game he's playing is 20 years of errata.
Right. Exactly.
Tim, you're perfectly fine. I do this on the constant, and I was just talking to Mo the other day, and I couldn't figure something out for the life of me. And I'm like, what the hell is this supposed to mean? So I text Mo. Yeah, and what's the first thing you said to me? Read the errata.
It's in the errata.
Yeah, and I was like, well, son of a butt. So that drives me
Yeah.
nuts. Like I hate, and it's not anything against a specific company, but I hate errata because that means it's not in one location, and I'll never be able to keep it in my head. So if they make a mistake, I'm going to make permanent mistakes. I've just come to accept it. Although that was a big mistake on their part.
No, I mean, it happens. Errata does happen, and it's always going to happen. It's just these are products made by people.
No, I get it.
People make mistakes.
It's going to happen. Everyone's going to have errata. It's just the level of errata. It should be a page or under, largely spaced.
If possible, yes, that's definitely something that they want to do. But the whole in the end of this whole thing is wargaming is open to anyone and everyone. Excuse me, with an interest in history. But the interest in history has to come from you as the gamer to want to be into it. That's like saying, I'm mad because I don't know this type of game over here is not open to me. Well, why is it not open to you?
Right.
Because it's not my interest. There's no topic there's not enough hockey games out there. Okay,
They just
there
released
are,
one,
but
or
I know.
it was on
But
Game.
what I'm saying is, you can complain about something artificial like that. There's not this, and I feel like I'm being kept out of it. Well, go create one. Number one. Number two, there are others out there that you can go play. But the thing is, you don't have an interest in what those things are. That's not necessarily the best comparison. But in the end, it really comes down to when war games are about history, and historical board games are also about history. If you want to game out a political struggle, then go play a historical board game. If you want to get into a war game because you want to get into the fight, then go play a war game. And they're similar in that they cover history, but they are different in their execution. And there's nothing wrong with either one of them. And they're adjacent, and you can like both, or one or the other or whatever. But this whole thing that we need to change, that we're the problem, is bullshit. And I'm just going to say that right now. And Kev's already said it too. And it's tiring to hear it. That's why we're talking about it today, because we're not the problem, and we've never been the problem. And wargaming is not dying.
I'm a little bit of the problem, but
you're a notorious asshole.
But you're absolutely right, though, and I couldn't agree more with you. So,
Yeah.
Let's all just get along and have some fun and play some games and roll some dice.
People act like wargaming is this graying hobby. It's always been a grayer hobby. It tends to be longer. It tends to need a little more table space. It tends to stay on the table a little bit longer. So the people who are going to be attracted to it are going to be ones who have a little bit more on the time on their hands. So they're closer to retirement, stuff like that. Maybe they finish their military career, federal service career, whatever it is. They're looking for something to occupy their time. So it makes sense. The hobby itself has always been grayer, but they always act like that's a sign of it dying. It's like, no, I didn't get into it until I got, physically hurt and was out of the Marines, and I had more time on my hands. It's exactly why I fell into the hobby.
Now, William, this young man here at 71, he's coming into the wargaming and complex board games hobby as a way to recover his misspent youth. Fantastic. And, this is what we want to see, is everybody coming in and joining. And, there's nothing. Has anybody been hard on you to say, you can't join us, you can't be part of it? No. Hell, if you run into me at a con, come over. I'll buy you a whiskey, or just pour one out of the bottle, Canadian iced tea. As we call it on the channel, or your favorite beer or whatever, and we'll talk war games. We'll sit down and play a war game. And John, he was at Compass Expo. He and I sat down and played a war game and BS'd and everything else, and it was a great time. And John, you have to be more aggressive. When we were playing Kaiser's High Seas Fleet, you'll know what I'm talking about there. He was not as aggressive as he could have been. And afterwards, we were talking about that with Gil as well, the designer of the game. So we had a lot of fun though. But Jay is the problem, so blame it all on Jay. And Mike says you are the notorious KEV. Eric wants to play
Must be
Memoir
like
44 with you.
like a rapper thing, like the Notorious.
I don't think
B.I.G..
Kevin likes Memoir 44.
I own it, and I have played it several times.
It
And
doesn't
I
strike me
also
as a game
own
that would be
Command,
you.
Command and Conquer games.
You
Yeah,
hate
the
like
Command
that
and Color
mini
games are
stuff.
fine.
Yeah, it's the same system, right?
You guys
Yeah.
really got to check out that cadet game stuff. I did finally get to. That was the other one that came in. Cadet games one.
John, that's no excuse. I didn't know the rules either until Gil was sitting down explaining them to us both. But I was just like, okay, two things. Number one, I was like, oh, I got to come right out and be aggressive. Great. It fits right in my play style. Number two, my play style generally is I'm just going to run right up there and start swinging. I mean, there's no hint. I mean, there's no secret to that. That's just the way I like to play. Not that I don't play nuanced when it's necessary, but just generally what I want to do. Hey diddle diddle, let's run up the middle is my game plan always. But yeah, but again, I think we're going to wrap it up here because I think unless Nate has anything to add in, I think we've pretty much covered the stuff we were going to cover today.
No, I just wanted to, like I said, give that shout out to Cadet Games because I did get to try their stuff a little bit and I actually did enjoy it.
Is that the Vietnam stuff?
Yeah, the Nguyen Hue, if I'm saying that right.
Yes.
How do you say it?
Knowing way.
Knowing
I think
Hue.
it's Nguyen or
Yeah.
Nguyen.
I'm terrible
at
Way.
that. Yeah,
And
I thought it was knowing myself, but I could be 100% wrong. Please correct me in the chat if I am. But so you liked it?
Yeah, it doesn't. I mean, solitaire perfectly because it does have some hidden information, but you can kind of work around it if you need to.
Okay.
But it does make me really want to try out that other one we talked about, Battle of Tet, or I forget the name of it. They got good stuff. If you like stuff that's got the tiny minis, like kind of Axis and Ally type minis, it's one to check out.
So that would actually be Win Way.
Win Way. Yeah, cool.
Thanks, John. Appreciate that because I've heard that pronounced a couple different ways. So, and the Americanized ways are generally wrong.
I've got a review coming out on that. Gimpy's Gal did an unboxing that should already be up, but I've got a review of it, actual gameplay and all that good stuff, be up in a couple of days.
Cool.
And I think Alistair is right here. The dead horse is saying enough already.
Totally.
And yes. So.
Yep.
No,
But yeah, we appreciate you guys joining us tonight. Hopefully you guys had fun with the conversation. It looks like you guys did. That's true. It's a war game, not a wait and see what happens game. Get in there and get fighting. But again, war games are for everybody that wants to join in and play. The table's always open to anyone. Just don't be an asshat. And like I made the joke before that Stigler, it's not a joke, it's actually serious, but it sounds funny that Stigler made fun of because he's just such a vassal disciple was do take a shower when you're at a convention, a multi-day convention, because it's just not nice to sit down next to somebody with, that hasn't washed. Generally, everyone in war games does. I've not had that problem there. Hobby games, I have run into that issue.
I haven't seen that for 10 years. I think people have to move somewhere along the line.
Yeah, but he did say in Vassal, you don't have to worry about that.
You
He's
don't
right.
have to worry about it, right?
He's 100% right. But it was really enjoyed you guys joining us tonight. And Alistair's off the guard gate. Brian saying goodnight. And Stuka saying great to see you. It's always great to see you, Joe, as well. And thanks, guys. Really do appreciate you guys coming in. Kev, what do you got coming up on your channel?
No idea. I have a lot of work to do.
You got a lot of work to do. So do I. I am so far behind on stuff because I took a
I'm
hiatus.
so behind. You're right. I just I can't say.
A hiatus for a couple of reasons. Number one, hockey started kicking in even more, and then my wife has a charity event this week that I'm helping her out a little bit with, and I've just not really gamed as much. So I'm behind on stuff, and I need to catch back up. But after this is all done this week, then everything should kind of get back to normal. So, and like I said, I took a break because I was like, you got to recharge your batteries. What about you, Nate? What do you got coming up?
A bunch of stuff. More enemy action Kharkov. I've got carrier battles. Hopefully some Europa Universalis, if I can say that right. Captain's Log. Looking forward to trying that one. What was that other one I got back on the table? I'm probably going to show off the Everrain just because I've got it. I might as well. The one that Brian sent me, the In the Trenches.
Yes.
when I was showing off, and In Country when I get that one done, painted up, and hopefully some 148 Tactic as well. So I got a bunch of stuff lined up.
Very good. No, I'm not a hockey coach. I just do the broadcast stuff. And yes, of all the sports, hockey has the nastiest smelling equipment there is.
Did you get Trick
it smells
Shot?
like... What's that?
Did you get Trick Shot?
Yes, I have the original. I have the first one. I've ordered the second volume or the second edition rules and cards, so I'm waiting on that.
Oh, I didn't know that there was a first edition. Okay.
Yeah, I got it on Kickstarter originally because I was like, oh, this looks really cool. And I played it, and it was a lot of fun. But I was sitting there going, there's ways to make it even a little more simulation-like. But then they came out with version 2 rules, so I'm going to check that out first and then maybe house rule some stuff myself if I feel the need. But great presentation on the table, fun little game. You can solitaire it. You can play 2-player, just really cool.
I backed it. I
But
like
we
Blood
will-
Bowl, so I figured it'd be
Very
one
nice.
I would enjoy. She does
There you
paint.
go. Do a
occasionally.
painting night with you guys.
Oh, live painting. There you go.
We did that some very little bit back in the day before we
I
had
think
a
you
lot
need
of
to do it
kids.
again.
Yeah.
It is a lot easier to do painting nights when you don't have 2 and 3-year-olds running around grabbing your stuff and breaking it.
NyQuil.
She says that the doctors recommend against that.
Oh, don't listen to that nonsense, dude. Benadryl, NyQuil, load them up.
I
That's
need
what
to check
told
that
her.
out inside the crease
Email me
hockey.
list. Is that a
There you
game?
go. So, yeah, I'm going to have to check that one out and see how that one plays. But again, thanks everybody for tuning in tonight. We will catch you on the next one, and we will be bringing in Mark Walker
Gene
and
Stealers.
Herman Lutman so we can talk about rules and understanding all those. And while Nate shows off his miniatures there,
Tyranid.
And maybe we'll get a couple shows here next month. Maybe we'll try to double up if we can now that everybody seems to be back to normal and healthy, which we hope remains the case. So once again, thanks everybody for tuning in tonight. Really appreciate it. Any comments you want to add, you can post them down below. We'll see you on the next one.
Yeah.
Good night, everybody.